Hello, hello, hello. We are back again with installment number 3 of the commas for this week. Hopefully you guys have watched my series comma video and introductions, interjections, and um, direct address. All of those I've covered already. The last thing that we use commas for is when we have complex sentences. And I know this sounds scary, but it's not. We've studied it before. You guys did great. So come with me and join, and we'll get right into it. So, we're going to be looking at complex sentences today. Not as complicated as it sounds. If you remember something I made you guys say over and over again when we were studying complex sentences is when you have a complete idea, complete sentence, how many complete ideas can you have in a sentence? The answer is you can only have 2. So if you have more than 2 with conjunctions, it turns into a run-on sentence. And that is when you get into saying things like, first we decided to go to the beach and we got into our car and we drove there and we got out of our car and we set up a picnic. There are way too many main ideas in that sentence and it goes on and on without an end. So what you need to do is you need to take that however many main ideas you have and separate them, either one main idea to one sentence, or you can have 2 ideas in one sentence, but they have to be combined with a conjunction. So if you remember that. So a conjunction is basically a word that combines 2 things. So a conjunction is a word that combines 2 things. Those things can be nouns. So that would be saying, do you want hamburgers or hot dogs? You have hamburgers, you have hot dogs. Those are both nouns. You combine them with the conjunction word or. So that can be nouns. That can also be complex or like sentences, ideas. So complete sentences. In this case, we are also going to use. We specifically studied conjunctions like the 3 main ones that we studied were and, but, and or. I'm just going to put or so we don't get confused with and. And can be a conjunction word. It's right there. And, but, or. Those are 3 conjunction words that we studied as the 3 main ones that combine sentences together. Okay, so we're going to write a quick example. We're going to say, do you like candy or ice cream? Do you like candy or ice cream better? Is this a complex sentence? Remember, in order for a sentence to be complex, you need a comma. In order to need a comma, you need 2 complete main ideas. Do we have 2 complete main ideas that we need to separate in this sentence? Do you like candy or ice cream better? No. Do we have a conjunction word? Yes, right here. This is a great example of a time that you would combine 2 nouns, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have a complex sentence. Let's go ahead and look at what might an example be of a complex sentence. Let's look at if we put, so basically in order to have a complex sentence, you need to have 2 main ideas. So let's come up with 2 main ideas in 2 completely different sentences. Let's say my first sentence, I want to go to the beach. This is true, I do. My second sentence is, it is too cold to go to the beach. If I was writing a story, my character wanted to go to the beach and it was too cold to go to the beach, I wouldn't necessarily want to put them into 2 short, choppy sentences. So it would sound like, I want to go to the beach. It's too cold to go to the beach. What are we saying the same in both sentences that can be combined? The part about the beach. So if you think to yourself, I want you to think, how would you combine these 2 sentences? The first thing you need to do is get rid of the part that is being repeated. So you don't need to say to the beach twice. So how can you combine those 2 ideas? If I was going to combine these 2 ideas, I would probably say, and you could do this a different way, but I would probably say, I want to go to the beach. And here's where my conjunction word would sit. And then I would say, it is too cold. Okay, so here is my sentence. I want to go to the beach. It's too cold. Okay, so if my sentence is now, I want to go to the beach. It's too cold. What do we need to do to combine these two sentences? Well, we need to add a conjunction. So if we're looking at our three main conjunctions, we know we need to add something to connect these two words together. We could either use and, but, or. So remember, and is just going to be one thing after the next, but is going to be contradicting two things that because this happening, this can't happen, or would be a choice between the two. So would it make sense for us to say, I want to go to the beach, or it's too cold? Probably not. So let's instead say, put my conjunction in here. And I'm going to use my conjunction here. I want to go to the beach, but it's too cold. Okay, so if we look up here at our two sentences, did we combine both of the ideas? I want to go to the beach. It's too cold to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach, but it's too cold. Yeah, it does. It combines them both, but we are still missing something. I want to go to the beach, but it's too cold. Every time we use a conjunction, you need to put a comma before the conjunction. Every time you use a conjunction, you need to put a comma before the conjunction. So if I were to retype this sentence, it's going to look a little bit like this. I want to go to the beach, comma, but it is too cold. And I'll move that up a little bit so you guys can see it better. I want to go to the beach, comma, but it's too cold. We have our conjunction word here, and every time you use a conjunction, you need to put a comma before. So if I was going to say in my next example, let's do one more example of a complex sentence. My first sentence is, I walked down the sidewalk. And my second sentence was, here, I'll just type it out. I walked down the sidewalk. That's my first sentence. My next sentence is, it was raining outside. So here are my two sentences. I walked down the sidewalk. It was raining outside. Two things that are happening here. I want to combine them together using a conjunction word. So I'm going to say, I walked down the sidewalk, and I'm going to want to include that it was raining outside. So in order, I need a conjunction word, and I also need a comma. So I know I'm going to put my conjunction word next. So I'm going to add that comma right here first. Then I'm going to add the conjunction word and then I'm going to put my second idea. It was raining outside. Okay, so I walked down the sidewalk and it was raining outside. Important parts, we have our conjunction word and we have our comma, very important. So every time that you add that conjunction word, you need to add that comma right before it. Okay, so you have that comma, you have that conjunction word. Both of those things are really important. Now I know this doesn't necessarily cover every single example you could have for complex sentences, and you might come across some that we didn't talk about in this video when you do your IXL, but really what you need to think about is looking at the main ideas. So if you have two things that could be their own complete sentence, that's when it turns into a complex sentence. So it's not just this example we did earlier, it's not just do you like candy or ice cream better? That's not a complex sentence. You could, I mean, technically, if you had two completely different ideas, like if you said, do you like candy, and that was one sentence, you would have to have a whole nother idea in order to make that a complex sentence. So make sure when you're using commas for complex sentence, you always add your comma before you add your conjunction. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Good luck on your IXL for English, and as always, reach out to me if you have any questions I'm always happy to hear from you guys.